A final goodbye today to fallen Chicago firefighter Jermaine Pelt. He died fighting a fire in West Pullman last week. His funeral at House of Hope today. Our Tara Molina spent the day there. She joins us now live with more on the service. And Tara, a community of thousands filled that church to honor and remember him today.
Joe, members of all of the communities that he touched in his 49 years, from fellow firefighters and first responders to former classmates. One thing very clear here today, Jermaine Pelt leaves a lasting legacy. Honoring, memorializing, and celebrating the life of fallen Chicago firefighter Jermaine Pelt.
What an incredible lesson Jermaine has taught us all. Not by how he died, as heroic as it was, but by how he lived.
Remembered for his heart, his smile, and his dedication to service. A husband, son, brother, and father of two, Pelt leaves behind an adoring family. A 6-year-old son, Jared, and a daughter, Jory, he'd just walked down the aisle. The 49-year-old Chicago native was a man of faith, described as a leader and pillar of his community, serving more than one. A Chicago firefighter of 18 years, he was also an EMT, instructor at the fire academy, and a nurse. A boxer and a real estate entrepreneur, his family said he loved to travel and was the most loyal friend.
He was always trying to do better. And that was like one of the first things that I connected with Jermaine. And we spent a lot of our time talking about doing better.
The kind who inspires others to be better.
Jermaine was the epitome of integrity.
Chicago Fire Commissioner Annette Nance Holt called Pelt a coworker and a friend. Known for his stellar cooking in the firehouse, Nance Holt said he was in his element when hosting others, helping others. That's who he was.
A story about Jermaine has stuck with me and truly captures the essence of who he was to everyone, even perfect strangers. He was informed by a friend who worked in a special care facility that a patient was lacking essential items. Without prompting, Jermaine used his own funds to purchase those essential items for someone he never met. If you ask me, we could all afford to be a little more like Jermaine these days.
A man that led with his heart, gave his all, and bravely ran into danger many times before the deadly fire last week to protect the community he grew up in and spent a lifetime serving.
When I think of him, I think of how he lived his life. Jermaine wrote his eulogy while he lived.
Jermaine Pelt was called a hero by many who talked about him here today. The Medal of Valor was presented to his family. That is the highest honor a firefighter can achieve. Reporting live outside the House of Hope Church, I'm Tara Molina, CBS 2 News.
Tara, thank you.